Hello, and thanks for joining us today on another Marketing Sherpa webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about search engine optimization by going through a case study with you where an SEO marketer turned an astronomical 82% bounce rate into a 400% increase in conversion. And that marketer is Jennifer Stagner, who is the technical support manager for office supply company Tops Products. Thank you for joining us today, Jennifer.
Hello, thanks for having me.
And I'm Courtney Eckerly. I'm the Marketing Sherpa reporter covering email marketing and inbound marketing beats. Now, since you're all here listening, you've obviously seen some benefit to a Marketing Sherpa webinar, but I just want to go in briefly with you about what we're trying to accomplish in the next half hour. We want to remove that feeling that a lot of marketers have of isolation or specialization, and hopefully facilitate a conversation by presenting one specific case study in depth with the marketer who spearheaded it, Jennifer. So hopefully from today you'll walk away with a little more insight into the world of SEO, and you can take these 3 steps and implement them into your own strategies. So let's get started. A great way you can interact with other marketers is through hashtag #SherpaWebinar on Twitter, and I will be keeping my eye on the feed over the next half hour, and hopefully we can get in some of your real-time questions over the course of the webinar. So feel free to submit them through hashtag #SherpaWebinar. Jennifer and I are going to be sharing a lot with you today about search engine optimization, and we also know that there's a lot of knowledge in the audience. So if there's a question that we can answer, or maybe doesn't pertain to this particular webinar, it's also a great opportunity to interact with other marketers who may be able to answer your questions. So a big part of why we are going to be talking about search engine optimization today is because, and this is from the Marketing Sherpa 2012 Search Marketing Benchmark Report, we asked marketers about their most frustrating challenges when it comes to SEO, and 42% listed developing an effective and methodical strategy as a challenge. And we encourage people registering for the webinar to submit a question that we can address during, and Ryan asked a question that really applies to this difficulty. How do you manage all initiatives and make sure that they get done? And Jennifer, I think that this question is really applies to what you try to establish at Tops Products. So is this something that you found to be true generally, or have struggled with yourself in developing Tops Products strategy?
Absolutely. It's always a challenge to manage large-scale projects, especially across multiple departments and different teams and different locations, and search engine optimization is no different. Sometimes I'm juggling links acquisition, keyword research, internal site search responsiveness, or banner designs, or the shopping cart process flow all in the same day, and it definitely takes a cohesive overall vision, a good communication vehicle to keep all the team members up to date on progress, and some good attention to detail to keep progressing towards your goals.
Okay, and we had a question on Twitter from Anne. She said, where does SEO responsibility fall in most companies? So where would you say that responsibility generally falls?
Well, I think that there's definitely a large amount of SEO work that can be done by a marketing department. What we found at Tops Products is that SEO responsibility really falls in a lot of different areas. Our creative team will work on ensuring that our banner ads are engaging and elicit traffic to click through them to a given product page. Our technical team will make sure that the site is properly constructed so that Google can easily crawl it and rank it in search results. And our customer service team even will put links back to the site at the bottom of their email so that they can drive traffic as well. So it really is cross-functional, but I deal most day-to-day primarily with our company's marketing department.
Okay, great. Well, to start out, we wanted to ask you a question to kind of gauge where everyone is on the SEO scale. So how mature is your organization's SEO strategy? So Maybe you are in the trial phase where you basically have nothing going on in the SEO department, or you're totally at square one, and that's fine. You're here ready to soak up all the SEO knowledge that you can. You are in the transition phase, where you have an informal process with a few guidelines and your SEO strategy worked out. You've gotten started, and you're looking for ways to expand and optimize what you have going on already. Or you're in the strategic phase where you have a robust SEO strategy that maybe just needs optimizing here or there to keep everything running smoothly. Okay, so the results seem to be topping off. So let me just close the survey. And as we can see, most people are in the transition phase. So they're kind of in that middle area. They're looking to maybe take it to the next step and have that smooth running strategic process for SEO. So let's jump right into this case study and see if we can help you get to that strategic phase. All right, so before we get into the individual details of the campaign, Jennifer, if you could just kind of set the scene for the situation your team discovered while they were trying to maintain a healthy and effective SEO strategy.
Absolutely. We had just launched a beautiful, fresh, modern site. We were looking at some of the Google Analytics data for the site, and we saw some anomalies that we wanted to dive into deeper. We saw some problems that definitely needed to be corrected.
Okay.
So specifically, we saw that a lot of traffic was coming to us from one particular website, and that traffic was consistently coming every single day. However, when we looked at bounce rates, which is how many times a visitor exits the page after they come to it, they were really astronomically high. And because we spent so much energy and effort really making our site new and modern and user-friendly, we were very surprised to see that statistic.
Okay. So now we are going to go over some of the specific challenges that you had with this campaign. So first off, if you could just describe what your first objective is with all of your SEO channels and your strategy, and talk about some of the specific problems that you had in achieving that overall objective with this campaign.
Sure. Well, search engine optimization at TOPS is part of a much broader user experience bucket, but we think about it like this. How can we deliver great content, quality products, smart website design, and an easy checkout process so that consumers or businesses can find what they need right away and that they come back? And ultimately, we want them to trust our site, visit often, so that that combination pushes us up in search results. You know, the higher up your site is, statistically speaking, the easier it is to pull in traffic. And that's really our ultimate goal. Some of the challenge we had in this campaign is that we were pulling in traffic, but that traffic wasn't converting for us. It wasn't leading to a sale, and it didn't make sense because we knew we had a great combination of the right product, the right consumer demographic, an excellent price point, and a new website. So it's always tricky in SEO to pull together all the different elements, you know, domain and page authority, inbound links, referral paths, the Google Analytics data, and use that information in all of those projects to drive conversions. And it was no different with this scenario.
All right, well, let's dive right into the case study with step 1, which is monitor SEO avenues for bounced traffic. All right, so here we had another question. Jay asked, is it tougher to rank within a very competitive marketplace? What is the strategy to rank against large competitors? So Jennifer, if you could, explain kind of the overall elements that go into Top's Products SEO strategy so your team can do exactly that, compete in a competitive marketplace.
Sure, and our marketplace, like most, is very competitive, especially on the internet. You know, everybody is is facing Amazon ranking first in search engine results. And so we look at it from a very comprehensive viewpoint. We make sure that the construction of the site is as good as it can be, that we make it easy for Google to crawl and rank our site. We make sure that consumers, when they come on the site, have a good user experience, that we don't provide a lot of barriers to the checkout process. We look at the inbound links that are coming in, and we look for partner sites that are passing us good traffic, good conversion dollars. We look at weak sites where we're getting the traffic but we're not making those sales. What are things we can do to improve that process? We use for all of this as a great data foundation, Google Analytics. It's free. It has massive amounts of data. It gives us a real-time view into how customers are using the site, where they're running into issues, where there are opportunities for improvement. We can track items like bounce rates and conversion rates and what the best content is on the site.
Okay, and we had a question from Twitter. Is Google Analytics the only tool that you use, or do you utilize others?
Sure. We use Google Analytics pretty extensively, but it's not the only tool. We also use Google Webmaster Tools. That gives us some visibility into not only who came to our site, but how many times we showed up in search for a given keyword and the people that didn't click through to our site. It also lets us communicate with Google. We can submit our sitemap and help them crawl and index us. We can monitor site health in Webmaster Tools. We can see the significant keywords that Google finds on our site and then evaluate whether or not that matches what we want them to see. We'll also use some other services like SEO Moz has a fantastic service that will let you crawl your own site as if it were Google, and it'll highlight what some of the errors are. And we use a number of in-house tools that we've made ourselves as we've gone through many of these SEO adventures.
Oh, okay, great. Well, now that we've gone over your strategy and in depth a little bit, let's start to how you discovered this problem. So if you could just tell us exactly what you and your team were seeing here in this creative sample.
Sure, and this is actually a screenshot directly from our Google Analytics. We were looking at the referral traffic that was coming in from partner sites, and specifically we were looking at the links on our partner site, autotrader.com. Our marketing department had made a great deal with them and said, if you put our product on your site, it'll be great for you, it'll be great for us. That deal was successful, and they actually put the link on 10 different pages. And we noticed in Google Analytics that it was sending us tons and tons and tons of traffic. You know, that other auto trader site is huge in terms of volume of people that move through it each day. And it was working. We were getting all of those visitors. The challenge, though, as we drilled deeper, is that when we looked into the bounce rates and what those visitors were doing on the page, they were clicking on the link on AutoTrader, they were coming to our site, and 4 out of 5 times they were instantly exiting the page. And that didn't make sense to us because we just had rolled out this brand new, user-friendly, great site with a great product. So the Google Analytics let us see that we were getting the traffic, but the traffic wasn't making any purchases.
Yeah, okay, and there's that terrible bounce rate right there. So you see that, and you must have that's a pretty terrifying number for an SEO marketer.
Absolutely. And you know, when we first saw the traffic, we thought, wow, our marketing team did a phenomenal job making this deal, collaborating on content, doing outreach to this partner site. Everything looks successful. But when you use Google Analytics to delve a little bit deeper, and we saw 80% bounce rate, it wasn't that successful at all. All of their good work was getting undone somehow. And the next step is we wanted to figure out what was causing the bounce rate, how do we fix it, and how do we translate all of that traffic into actual sales.
Exactly, and that leads us into step 2, identify the issue and find false links. Um, So you had traced the links back to a partnership that you'd secured with Autotrader.com. You were very excited about it, and you were seeing all of this traffic come in via the 10 links that you had with them, and then that big bounce rate that you just really weren't prepared for. So talk about where the problem came in here.
Sure. So the first thing that we did is we said, well, let's look at this from the viewpoint of a consumer. What is happening from their viewpoint? So I went to the AutoTrader site. I found the links to our site. And I read the text around the link, and the AutoTrader site had verbiage that was saying effectively, you can click through to Socrates.com, which was the name of our old website. You can buy a specific bill of sale form that covers issues related to as-is addendums, other things that you would be interested in when you're selling an automobile, and it'll help you sell your car.
Okay. And if everyone can see, that little box down there is the troublesome link that was leading people. Uh, this is what they were supposed to be seeing, the automobile bill of sale. But instead, they were being led to this page with legal documents, a living trust for a married couple, right, Jennifer, which is just the opposite of what they were trying to find.
Exactly. They wanted to sell a car, not get married and set up a trust, and so they weren't interested in taking any more time to try and find the right product. It should have come up automatically for them, and so they would just leave the site.
Yeah, because if you come onto that site looking for something specific, you're not going to spend a whole lot of time searching around the website trying to find what it was you were actually looking for. And just walk us through identifying the issue step by step.
Sure. So the first thing, we were monitoring our Google Analytics. We were looking at the inbound traffic, specifically the referral traffic coming from partner websites. And we saw that a great deal of traffic was coming through from the AutoTrader site to our new Tops Products website. Next, we realized that while the traffic was really great, the overall result actually wasn't so good. It was hurting us from an SEO standpoint because all of those users were clicking away from the page as soon as they visited it. So the bounce rates were astronomical. 4 out of 5 people weren't happy with what they saw when they clicked on that AutoTrader link. And that was delivering a bad user experience as well as harming our overall SEO. We looked into every single link on the AutoTrader site to see what was happening, how were they funneling the traffic, what was the consumer looking at, and what do we need to fix.
Okay, so to kind of sum up this step, Jennifer, what SEO marketers have to do to keep their strategy and SEO buckets healthy is to go through each and every one of these elements in the way or the different ways that a consumer would, correct?
Absolutely. Marketers have to have a way to identify these anomalies or find the areas for improvement, and a great way is Google Analytics. It's free, it's easy to set up. And then think like a customer to translate those metrics and data points to a marketing strategy for either improvement or growth expansion.
Okay, well that leads us to your third and final step, correcting the false links. So you and your team have identified the reason for this bounce rate, and so tell us how you went about correcting the problem and describe what we're seeing here in this creative sample.
Okay, well what you're seeing here is we first went to the AutoTrader site using Google Analytics to kind of give us a head start and identify exactly where the bad link was. We documented the bad link, as we call it, and then we researched where should it be pointing, what is the good link or the correct link. And you're looking at the before link and the after link in that slide.
Okay. All right. So walk us through here, setting up your redirect, and maybe describe what that is for marketers on the webinar who might not know. But also tell us, how would a marketer who doesn't have the capability to correct the problem the way you did, what they would do?
Sure. So when we had the bad link and the good link, we wanted to put in a 301 redirect to push traffic to the right product. And a 301 redirect is kind of like call forwarding or address forwarding, but for the Internet. So if you think about when you move, sometimes you'll fill out a change of address form with the post office. That way your mail still gets to you, it just comes to a different place. A 301 redirect functions in a similar way. You can move traffic from an old URL to a new URL. And there are different ways that you can go about accomplishing this. Luckily, we have web developers on site who can do it for us. They'll go into Apache or IIS, wherever our website is sitting on, and they'll modify some HT access files, put some code in, and it'll take care of it. If you don't have a web developer on site who can implement code, it's actually a really simple fix. All we would have had to do is call up our contacts at the AutoTrader site and say, we have changed our website. We need you to swap out the bad link with this new good link, and that way your customers are happy and your visitors are happy as well as ours.
Okay, great. And it's just that simple. You were leaking all of this traffic onto your website, and it was just that simple of a fix.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually, because we could go in and set up our own redirect, we didn't have to wait for anybody else to swap out a link. We were able to fix the issue that had been plaguing us for months unknown in as little as maybe 30 minutes. And the very next day we saw immediate improvement in the Google Analytics data. Now the same traffic was coming to the site, but instead of leaving the page, they were staying on the page, they were making purchases, and that traffic actually grew so that it's now the #1 top best-selling item on the site by far.
Oh, wow. Now we're going to get to more of those results in just a second, but for those of you who are not aware, we just Marketing Sherpa just announced our Lead Gen Summit 2013. It's a vendor-neutral event for marketers interested in improving the volume and quality of leads they provide to their sales team. So, through 4 days of real world case studies and practical collaborations, you'll learn how to attract and engage more potential customers, develop and nurture curious shoppers into knowledgeable buyers, deliver more high quality leads to the sales team. So go take a look at that page. It's mechlabs.com/VIP lead gen and see if it might be a fit for you and your team. It's in San Francisco, September 30th. And now on to the results. A great lesson learned here. I mean, even with the tremendous amount of effort, Jennifer, that you and your team put into in engaging marketing partnerships and getting those links or product placement on another website, it can all be undone by these small issues. And so from just this tiny correction that you made and kind of tightening your SEO strategy, you were able to see a 400% increase in conversion rates and a 39% reduction in that ugly bounce rate that you had. So what's your takeaway as a marketer from results like these?
Well, the resultant effect was so successful and actually so easy to implement. Just a little bit of attention to detail in Google Analytics, a quick 301 redirect, and all of a sudden we have tremendous sales, constantly, every day, every hour of the day we get notifications that we've sold more of these items because users are able to find what they're looking for. The takeaway for us is we need to look at other patterns that are like this. Are there any other areas where the consumer is expecting to get one thing, they're getting another, we can make a little tiny change and all of a sudden improve our conversion rate. And we actually did see other instances where we could fix and improve our e-commerce. We had a similar scenario on an accounting website. It was linking to the wrong tax product. We put in a 301 redirect and the next day a bounce rate reduction, increased conversion rate.
Oh yes. Was I believe in the case study we have online, we went into this a little bit. Did you say that it was a problem with a picture that was incorrect, or
Yeah,
is that right?
for the accounting side, it was actually not even an actual link. It was the image was incorrect. The images were from the old website. They were pointing to the wrong URL. We put in the 301 redirect for an image, and that significantly improved click-through rate back to our site, because instead of seeing a image not found error, people would actually see a picture of the product. They recognize that that's something they want to purchase. They would click through, and then they'd complete the purchase on our site.
Okay, so you're uh, this campaign, of dedicating, your time and some resources uh, into following up on these links and making sure that you have a system for catching these mistakes is really it's made your SEO strategy stronger today and has helped you to catch other things that could be leaking valuable traffic. Um, and also, you have implemented something really clever out of this campaign to make issues like this even easier to catch. So I think a lot of marketers can help their SEO strategies by taking advantage of this and really get to that place where it's effective and methodical, and taking their SEO to the next level. So just describe to us what you implemented after this campaign.
Sure. Well, we realized as soon as we saw the auto trader scenario and how effective it was in terms of driving converting traffic and actual sales dollars, that we really wanted to automate as much of the process as we can so that we can take advantage of all of these different opportunities. We also wanted a way to communicate information about the site to different parties within our organization, and without having them necessarily get involved in the day-to-day details. So one of the things that we did right off the bat is we looked into how do we make the process of getting data out of Google Analytics and actually using it faster. And the way that we did it is if you have a Google account, you can actually get an API key, and it's sort of like their key that lets you see their data, the data that they have for your Google Analytics account. We took that API key and we used a Google Doc Cloud Foundation. We added some custom code, pulled in the API credentials, and we set up a connection to make data requests to Google Analytics real time. And then we added a little bit more code to push that out to a Google site that's secure, it's access restricted, only the people that we want to see it can see it, and we have that data transformed on the site in different visualizations, like a heat map for visitors, or sometimes we have bar charts, or we have pie charts, something that our executive team can really open up, take one quick look at, get a really good feel for exactly what's happening on the site in terms of revenue, traffic, visitors, top content, suboptimal content, what products are performing best. And it's all automated. The code that we wrote pulls the data from Google Analytics via the API key. It pushes it to the Google site. The dashboards and the key performance indicators update themselves real time, automatically. Every time we open up the site, it's got fresh data. It eliminated having to actually log into Google Analytics, create our report, pull it out, look at it in Excel, and try and drill down into the exact opportunities that we wanted to look at. This way, the site sort of does all the work itself, and we spend our time focused on fixing issues instead of just getting the data for the issues. And it sounds really complicated, but it's actually not that bad. Google, if you put in Google Analytics API in Google search, it'll pull up a lot of great examples and templates and instructions and show you how to do this for yourself, and it's all for free.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jennifer. And right now we're going to do a quick review of the steps. So, one, monitor SEO avenues for bounce traffic, identify the issues, find false links, and then go in and correct them. And those are what led you to a 400% increase in conversion. I hope they have the same positive results for other marketers. And but thank you everyone for joining us for another Marketing Sherpa webinar. And of course, thank you, Jennifer, for joining us and sharing that campaign.
Oh, thanks for listening, everybody.
Unfortunately, we are all out of time, but please take the survey at the end of the webinar. It helps us keep them in tune with your needs. Thank you.